What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Welcome on into Let's Bet It. Lauren Jabari here with Jared Smith. Jared, crazy day yesterday in the NHL. We saw some incredible games. You being there in New York at this point, your thoughts on the Rangers' victory and tying up the series?
Woo! Man, we needed that one.
Yeah.
I'm tired today. I was up late watching that overtime last night, Avs and Preds. That one, so we'll get to the overtime challenge in a little bit, but that one, we needed that one really bad because it's been hurting with the overtime game so far. That game was incredible. The Rangers did what they needed to do. They got out to a fast start. They took the lead. Pittsburgh, though, made it a little interesting there. It was a close game until, the Rangers kind of got a little breathing room late. But that was a much-needed win. I don't think they could have won the series if they would have fallen behind 2-0 at home.
No, totally
now they
agree
go
with you on that.
At one, and yeah, now it's anyone's series. But the postseason's been fun. The NHL playoffs, even though the margin of victory, which again we'll get to a little later, has been a little wider than I expected. It's been a fun postseason so far.
Even though some of these margins of victories are a little wider than expected, some of these scores don't necessarily tell the story of the entire game. Like I look at the last Canes-Bruins game and it's like they lost 5-2 or whatever it was, but the game was a lot closer than what the score showed. So we'll also get into that in a little bit. We got Better Up. We're talking about our MLB segment. Lots to get into there. Jared and I both have a couple Yerfies and Nerfies and then a couple props as well to throw your way. We have NBA Morning Raider after a day off yesterday in the NBA. We have Brian Scalabrine coming on today. 2 big games in the second round of the playoffs tonight. We're going to break those all down. And Scal has quite a few props on the board that he's going to share with all of you. Then we have our NHL Ice Picks, 4 games on the slate tonight. I am on 2 of them. Jared, you are on how many games in the NHL tonight?
We're going to find out how many you convinced me to be on.
Okay.
I mean, I'm betting, technically I'm betting every game for very small with the overtime bets, but that's just a blind tail, a sprinkle at this point. Maybe the Ice Queen herself can dote on me some knowledge to convince me to get to the window on a hockey game tonight. You're pretty convincing.
Yeah, I got you.
I think you got me.
And then we can't end without our Pickswise 3-star play of the day and our best bets of the day. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's bet it with our Better Up segment. We talk about these Yerfies and Nerfies every single show that we have. So the Yerfies went 6-4 yesterday. They're now 192 and 189 on the season. Now, if you bet all Yerfies so far in the season, you're down 20.4 units. If you blindly bet Nerfies all season, you're down 44.6 units. So we're not blindly betting these. We're putting in a lot of research. No. A lot of these are really juiced at this point. You also put in there, the Rockies are 15-10 to the Yerfie, but minus units still on both sides. Capital LOL. Jared, how are you doing with your Yerfies and Nerfies total?
Good. I mean, the last few nights have been really awesome. Yesterday we had the Guardians and the Blue Jays, and our buddy Vlad Guerrero hit a home run on the 6th pitch of the game. Very exciting to win a bet on the 6th pitch of a game. I've lost these bets on the first pitches of games before. I think that might have been the soonest I've ever won one. I think earlier in the year we had a 7-pitch Yerfie win. But again, the hypothesis is the same. Nothing has changed over the last week since I've gotten back from Vegas. These are literally coin flip bets. 192 yeses, 189 nos. And because they're juiced very, more like a derivative, a prop, instead of minus 110 on both sides, you're down both sides for the year. And I put the Rockies one in there because, again, my hypothesis with the Rockies is the no will be profitable at Coors Field at the end of the year. So far, it's a kind of split on both sides. The yes has more hits at 56%, 9 out of 16, but the no is actually down slightly less, only down a third of a unit, where the yes is down over a unit. So again, don't look at the records here. The records don't matter. What matters is the juice associated with it and the circumstances involved. Like the Rockies, they need to go probably 60 or 65% to the yes in order to be profitable this year, because you're trying to outrun the juice. So we'll track it again. It's only May 6th. We've got another 5 months of this. So enjoy, sit back, buckle in. Actually, tonight, I didn't like anything on the Nerfy board tonight. I was
I
close on a
do.
few.
I have a Nerfy
I know
today.
you've got a Nerfy tonight, which is always scary. That's a
Yeah.
very
If
tilting
I'm betting
proposition.
the Nerfy market, I feel really confident about it. So the
Yeah.
Nerfy, sorry, no runs first inning that I'm looking at is the Mets Phillies game. I got it at minus 130. It's still a little juice, laying 30 cents, but I like no runs happening in this first inning. So the Phillies had a ninth inning collapse yesterday. I know they want to bounce back today. That's going to be tough because the Mets have Max Scherzer on the mound. He has a 2.61 ERA on the season, and also 2.61 expected FIP, and he's perfect on first innings this year. He has 5 starts without allowing a first inning run. This includes 2 starts so far against the Phillies. Now, the Phillies have Gibson on the mound. He has a 2.93 ERA on the season. He has also not allowed runs in the first inning in 4 of his 5 starts so far this season. He has had scoreless first run innings in both starts at home. Also, his last start was on the road against the Mets, and he didn't allow any runs in the first inning. So I like the value here, especially with both pitchers being good against the opponent that they are playing, especially in the first inning. Max Scherzer has allowed runs in 0 of the 5 first innings that he's pitched, and Gibson has allowed runs in only 1 of the first 5 innings that he has pitched so far this season. So I like it. I'm laying 30 cents for it, but I still feel pretty confident in this. No runs first inning, Jared. Lock it in, baby.
Yeah.
You have a couple strikeout props today, though. A couple unders, and then I'll do my over that I have.
Yeah, and again, so records, especially in baseball, because I'm betting every day basically. You start a month in, you can start to glean some, conclusions from the data. The data for my strikeout props this year is starting to paint a pretty clear picture. I'm at almost 60% betting K-prop unders this year, 25 and 17. 11 and 14 to the over, 44%, down almost 5 units. So, again, not really much different handicapping style with the overs or the unders. You take the projection from Fangraphs, you take what the number is, and then you try to see if the strikeout percentages match up for each team. But despite that consistent style, I've struggled betting overs this year. So I'm going to pull back a little bit on the overs until I see one that I really like or be a little more selective. And we're going to lean a little more heavily into the unders. And I've got 2 of them for you today. We'll start with one that maybe isn't that surprising. Vince Velasquez under 4.5. I got this at even odds over at the Westgate. He is in Boston tonight against the Red Sox. He's projected for right around 4.1. So not a huge projection discrepancy there, but we are getting even odds to the under. He's actually gone over 4.5 in 3 straight starts, and his Ks per 9, 11.2, pretty strong there. But those 3 starts are against the Twins, the Angels, and the Rays, who are all top 10 in K percentage this year against right-handed pitching. The Red Sox are bottom 10, actually the 6th lowest K percentage against righties this year, right at around 20%. And Velasquez's numbers against the Red Sox, very poor, a 10.02 FIP, over 300 batting average against, and just a 20.6 K percentage in 68 career plate appearances against Boston. So not a huge sample size, but not a minuscule sample size, certainly worth mentioning. The reason that I really like this under is because of what happened yesterday to the Red Sox, which if you watch that game, Shohei Ohtani just sliced them and diced them at the plate, on the mound, everywhere. And I see this Red Sox lineup who got embarrassed yesterday by Ohtani bouncing back a little stronger, and I can see them getting to Velasquez early. So we'll go under 4.5 on Vince. And then we're going to take a crack here at a guy that we've never bet on before. He's actually only making his 3rd career start. He is one of your dudes on the Tigers, Bo Brisky. I don't know if you know much about him. I certainly don't.
I projected for 2.
Yeah, I'd be lying to you if I said I've ever heard of this guy until I did the research on him this morning. He's projected for 2.79. So his ERAs through his first 2 career starts, not bad, 3.3, but his expected ERA is over 5. And he's got a 16.7% barrel rate. He is not missing a lot of bats. 3rd percentile among starters in whiff rate. And this Houston lineup has been better of late. We talked about him earlier in the year. They were kind of middling and a little under expected where we obviously hope and think this Astros lineup, could kind of project out to. But over the last 7 days, they're second in WRC plus, and they have a bottom 10 strikeout percentage. So the Astros lineup is waking up a little bit over the last week. So those are my 2K props today, under 3.5 on Brisky and under 4.5 on Velasquez. The Brisky number I got 36 cents, laying 36 cents over at FanDuel. And no Yerfies or Nerfies for me today. I didn't love the board. I'm not going to force it. We've been hot with them. I'm not going to push the envelope. So I will pass on the Yerfie Nerfie card today.
Pass on the Yerfie Nerfie card. Well, you got 2K prop unders. I got to hit you with the K prop over, right? Kevin Gausman over 6.5 strikeouts. I got that at plus money. The under was a little juiced. I like it at plus money, plus 105 for this. I like him to cover this prop. He passed this prop total in each of his 4 previous starts, and he's done it easily. I mean, the lowest strikeout number he had in those 4 games is 8. The Guardians have a K rate of 21.6 against right-handers over the last 2 weeks. I know that's not, a super high percentage, but it still should be high enough for a guy like Gausman to go over 6.5. So I really like him over 6.5. I like the value that I'm getting at plus money. He's so good this season. He's 2-1. He has a 2.27 ERA so far. He's such a good freaking pitcher. He's going to go over it, baby. He's gone over it easily in his last 4 starts, 8 strikeouts or more. So let's make it happen. 2 strikeout prop, or 2 for you, 1 for me, Nerfie prop for me. Okay. Let's go from the card.
Gausman's numbers look good. Oh, yeah. Gausman.
I know. I know I do keep getting better, don't I?
You always look phenomenal. But Gausman's numbers have been fantastic this year, almost 12 Ks per 9. He's a star. The Blue Jays, they made a smart move bringing him in.
Absolutely. I know. You want to know who else is a star? Is our friend Brian Scalabrine. Let's bring him in from the park to the court. Let's bring in Brian Scalabrine.
Transitions like you do. One sport to another, you transition better than anybody.
Oh,
Nailed
it.
Thank
you, Scala.
She's a rock star. She's a rock star.
Not quite the boys to
I'm
men
lucky I get to work
transition
with
that
her
we
every
normally
day.
get.
But where you been?
Not quite boys to men. Not quite boys to men. But we're going from park to court.
Yeah.
Park to court.
Seriously, where have you been?
Me?
Where have you been? Isn't that a song?
Maybe.
It's like every time that you're on the show, I have that day off the last couple of weeks. So I'm glad that we get to be on the show together again. Yeah. Also, you're coming in hot with your neon colored hat. I'm loving it. Bringing a little brightness to the show today.
It's the summer. We're getting into better.
I don't feel like summer up here in the Northeast.
I know. I'm the same thing, but you got to factor this in when you're thinking about your player props, because when a cold weather city starts to get warm weather, those guys are going to play well. That's just how it goes. So that's
really. I need to hear the theory behind this, because last I checked, basketball was an indoor game. But I'm fascinated to hear this theory.
Oh, so you're telling me that when you're inside, you're not affected by the weather outside? When you get out and you breathe that fresh air and you walk in, and then next thing you know, you're heading into the arena feeling a little bit better, you're not going to play well?
I agree. No, and I will say this. These guys relish those walk-ins. The walk-ins now are becoming such a big deal with their outfits and everything. You can wear different outfits in the summertime. You can be a little more scantily clad.
Honestly, I'm here in Atlanta right now, and I'm sitting here inside. It's raining outside. I'm sad. Today's a sad day because it's raining.
Told you.
Yeah.
Told you.
No, I get it. I want to go back to bed.
Enough, you win this round. You win this round.
Okay. Getting into some games. Obviously, we had a night off yesterday, a rare night off during the playoffs last night. Tonight, we have 2 games going on. We have the 76ers taking on the Heat. If you're in Doc Rivers' shoes and Joel Embiid is not available for game 3, what sort of lineup changes do you make to come out and steal game 3 on home court?
Well, the first thing you do is you get on your you get on your knees and you pray to your God and you say, how can I win this series? There's no chance of me beating this Heat team. But you pray that Embiid will come back and wear a mask and have a legendary performance. But I hate to say it, this series is over. It's over. There's everyone's well, the Sixers were almost there. They almost made their run. This thing is over without Embiid. and it might be over with Embiid. So the Miami Heat are better. They're tougher. They have different guys. They're more about like this journey right now. I don't know what Doc could do, and I know that there's a good chance that he can get blamed. I know that James Harden's got a lot of money for this offseason, but I don't like to bet. First of all, 3-0 games, and we'll get into the next game where I'll tell you why like good team going up 3-0. But in these type of games, like it's really hard to say that the Philadelphia 76ers, who look disconnected, are going to figure it out, and the Miami Heat are going to have a letdown. Like I hate doing that, but I do feel like this could be a sweep. It could be a sweep. I don't feel like that about the other series, the Dallas Phoenix one. But this is the one where I could see it like just completely crumbling underneath the Philadelphia 76ers feet.
Yeah. This is a really tough game to bet on, especially at this time of day, because if Embiid plays, the entire market will shift. Right now, everyone's on Miami. The line's moved in Miami's favor. That leads me to believe Embiid will sit tonight. But you've seen it, Scal. You get, if I'm Philly, I'm waiting to the absolute last possible second to announce it, because then Eric Spoelstra has to prepare for 2 different lineups, and it creates just a little bit more stress in that locker room. And I know they're probably not feeling that stress right now. They're probably feeling pretty good. But it is a very tough game to gamble on. Now, that being said, good call last game with Maxey over, Harden under. That kind of is the vibe that I'm getting tonight as well. I saw Harden's points, rebounds, assists, all those numbers get inflated a little bit again today at home. Same thing with Tyrese Maxey. Are you feeling that same vibe again today? Let's say Harden sits in a vacuum. It's a Maxey over, Harden under kind of vibe for you.
No Embiid? No Embiid?
No Embiid. No Embiid.
I mean, I guess I would take the Maxey over again. But you know what? You were spot on with James Harden. I just didn't want to take it because I thought James Harden would shoot like 30 times, but he's just not good enough anymore, man. I hate to say it, like he's just not. Like this superstar, the guy a year ago was up for MVP of the NBA. Like there was 3 months there where people were like, man, James Harden, it's really going to go from honey buns to the MVP conversation, right? And they're like, how is that possible? A year later, he can't separate. He can't get by anybody. He can't compromise defenses. So I think Maxey has the athleticism and the confidence to do that. If there's no Embiid, I would do that. Here's one for you. If there is Embiid, I'd take the Danny Green over on threes. He can't play any worse.
Oh, yeah.
It might be 1-3. Yeah. So I'll play the Danny Green over if Embiid plays.
What is the answer for the Sixers here? Because it's like they need defense in their centers. They're not getting that right now. So you go to a smaller lineup, but you're also not hitting shots. So what's the answer? It's like pick your poison, right?
Well, I think the answer is like either Expedia or Kayak, right? Like you got to find the best deals out there. There are some good right now. Like I think you can go to the Bahamas or Mexico. Like there's a lot of questions that they have to answer. But I think that's probably somewhere along the lines. I'm kind of an Expedia guy, but I like Kayak. So I think the answer is Expedia, to be honest with you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'm more of an Expedia guy myself, actually.
Yeah.
So
I'm actually more of a Kayak user. I'll be the outlier here using Kayak. Yeah.
Kayak don't have – well, your Kayak is better for flights, but not for total vacations. Total vacations, Expedia all the way. So I think
the travel market.
Yeah.
I think
I would.
Can I ask you a question about Chris Paul for a second? Because obviously we're talking about James Harden, and he looks like a shell of his former self. Like he ain't giving you 35 and 15 at this point, right? You look at Chris Paul, the dude's vegan. He's almost 37. If it works for him, like I asked Zeno this yesterday, should we all just try to go vegan at this point? Like
I should go
what the
vegan.
heck?
Yeah,
it works for him.
Here's what I was thinking, right? Are you guys familiar with the honey bun situation? I know.
No, you got to fill me in on that.
No.
Is that like the pastry?
What is honey bun?
Okay, you guys don't know.
No.
Hit me up.
I know what a honey bun is.
I'm going to cultural flex on you guys right here. Okay.
Drop it.
When you're a rapper and you're James Harden, you buy a Louis Vuitton backpack and you fill it up with $100,000, right? You stack that thing up and you give it a happy birthday, little baby. That's a honey bun. So when James Harden is handing out honey buns, he's handing out that. Now, the only problem I have with James Harden going vegan, I don't think that honey buns are actually vegan approved. I think there's going to take some days. There's some dairy in there. There's some butter in there. There's something in there. I don't think they make vegan honey buns. So I'm not sure that James Harden, when you're talking about going vegan, I'm saying, how about just not hand out honey buns? And I think you have a good chance of being, forget what you eat. How about, I know everyone's focused on the diet. How about getting to bed before 11 o'clock at night? I don't know. How about not going to Magic City? I don't know. I think first, before I changed my diet and went vegan, I would first start with Magic City. And I agree. Magic City, Lou Williams lemon pepper wings. I think that's probably more his problem. Not necessarily the wings, but where he's getting the wings at. So that's where I stand with James Harden. So if I had a Magic City clause, or in Miami, we know how bad James Harden is there. Yeah. I would definitely pay him like $60 million with a Magic City clause in it. That's what I would do.
Wow. So I don't even know where to go from there. Lauren, you're great with the transitions.
Well, I did all this. By the way, I did all this work on the Dallas Phoenix series. I worked all night. Till 1 o'clock in the morning. So can we talk about the series that actually matters versus the one that
yes, of course. Because I see you have
what about the Warriors Grizzlies though? Did you go
to FanDuel or DraftKings and just be like prop?
Yeah.
Scout was sending out honey buns last night on these Mavericks props. Just giving them out.
All right. So, I'm handing out my versions of honey buns, which are by the way, I love the playoffs because, it's really difficult to pick NBA games. But when I see a team play, and then it doesn't mean that they're going to make the right adjustments, but I can tell you what they need to do and how the adjustments that need to be made, right? So when I'm watching Dallas Phoenix, obviously Phoenix is a much better team. Phoenix have dominated the Dallas Mavericks throughout the regular season. And now for the first 2 games of the playoffs, Luka's been having a really good game. And I think Luka is what I call a quote unquote winner, where he will make individual sacrifices for the betterment of the team to win. When you're back against the wall, you will do that. So I am jumping all over the props of the Dallas Mavericks playing team basketball, the Dallas Mavericks moving the ball, playing with that energy and that pace, and the Dallas Mavericks knocking down some threes. So, my Mr. Betting expert over there, I like Finney Smith over 2.5 threes, Brunson over 1.5 threes, Kleba over 1.5 threes, Bullock over 2.5 threes, and Spencer Dinwiddie over 1.5 threes. So, one way or another, I'm hitting 4 of those 5. I know that for a fact. Now, if Luka comes out selfish and tries to do everything and scores 60 on his own, sorry, man, that's on me. But I know for the Dallas Mavericks to win, they got to move the ball. So you can look at for some total assist numbers, not necessarily from Luka, and look at the total threes and the player props. And you want to play the parlays or whatever you guys want to do, fine. That's what's going to happen. Bet it how you want to bet it.
Is this one of those things? So you look at some of the stats from the first couple of games, right? Luka put up 80 points on his own through the first 2. He shot 54% from the floor. The rest of the starting 5 over 2 games scored a combined 70 points. So Luka himself is outscoring the rest of the starting 5 by 10 points, and they're also only shooting 41% from the field. Is this Luka being selfish, or is this him doing what he needs to do to try to help his team win?
I'll give you a different angle. It's the Phoenix Suns holding out on shooters and letting Luka play one-on-one, or they go into a pick and roll and they're not helping down. So it's one of those things where if you play Luka one-on-one, he's going to destroy you. He is so strong. He knocks you off your spot, all that stuff. But that's not going to help him win. He's also, that the Phoenix Suns are letting Luka dribble the ball around and waste all of his energy. And on the other end, they're setting 50 pick and rolls at Luka, and they're scoring. So in the NBA, 1 point a possession is a great offensive possession. They're scoring 1.72 points per possession when they go at Luka. So Luka needs to kind of conserve some energy offensively where he's flexing on people and he's bodying him up and get some more energy defensively. So they make a general shift to getting everyone else involved so Luka could save some energy so he's not like just absolutely awful defensively. That's where the shift comes from. That's how other guys get involved.
So I think of the props on your list, based off of the whole picture of what you're telling me, I think the Luka assist prop would be the one that's kind of all encompassing. The other 3-pointers, you know, it's a make or miss league. If you're right on the style of play that Dallas will have tomorrow night, you will be live in all of them throughout the entire game because they're not very high numbers, 1.5, 2.5. You know, one guy gets hot for 3 minutes, bang, you're good. The Luka assist prop at 7.5. Now, he's been right on that number in both of the first 2 games. He went over in one by a hook at 8. He went under in the other by the hook in 7. So he's kind of right there. And if we get that extra push where Dallas is a little more comfortable making shots at home, you would probably guess that he probably would have went over in the last game if Dallas would have made a few of those shots on the back end. Because remember, for an assist prop, it's a 2-pronged approach. You need the good pass, but you need that shot to go in too. And sometimes it's an offensive rebound and a putback, and you don't always get lucky. But from what you're telling me, you think Dallas will be a little more comfortable and the spacing will be better for them at home, and those shots are going to go in, and that should push Luka's assist prop over.
Yeah, and not only that, but I would, and like you're kind of informing me how this stuff works, but I would parlay that with maybe a Luka under on the points. You know, like I think he's going to get off the ball. Here's where I'm not sure on how this works, right? Like I think he's going to get like 12 assists, right? So do I take?
Oh, you can go way over.
Yeah,
I could sell it.
Yeah, so explain to me, like, let's say I feel like Luka is going to hit 12, maybe even 14, could be 15 assists, right? But the numbers.
Oh, I got you. 14. What? 14 is 14 to 1. 14 to 1.
Oh, so you sprinkle a little bit here, and then you double it down with some crazy. If what I think could happen, like I think I'd be really comfortable with 12 or 13. So I kind of feel like
10 assists is plus 215, which is over 2.
I would look more like that.
So you want to ladder? So we call that a ladder. You want to ladder Luka's assists. You bet the over 7.5, and then you go a little bit less on the over 10, a little bit less on the 12, a little bit less on the 14, and the more higher up the rainbow he goes, the more payout you're going to get. I've done that before with guys. I have.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to ladder it. Bang. New
ladder.
I learned on this show.
That ladder. Let's go.
Look how low down I am. You're teaching me ladders and I'm teaching you honey buns. Like, what is wrong with me? I got to reevaluate my life here.
And I'm teaching everyone how to go vegan, maybe. I don't know.
Lauren,
no, you're not. You're not a vegan. Get it.
I love filet. I love a good filet, and I love cheese. Scalloped cheese is maybe half of my diet, so there's no chance I'm ever going vegan. No chance at all. Okay,
you're telling everybody to go vegan because of Chris Paul? Are we going to start yelling at referees and stuff like that?
He's 25.
Yeah,
he's 37.
Scott Foster's game tonight. Is Scott Foster
so how do you see? What do you say?
I said, is Scott Foster reffing one of the games tonight? That's what I want to know.
Scal, before we let you go, how many games do you think this Mavs-Suns series is going to go? Do you think it's going to go down to the wire? Do you think you obviously don't think the Suns are going to sweep? Do you think the Mavs are going to move the ball around a little bit more tonight?
5. Gentlemen's sweep. They get the Mavs win today. So if you guys want to play that, it's right even money, isn't it? Or 1 point?
I think it was around even money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, I would bet the Mavs. Pretty confident the Mavs. They have the cojones to win one game. They're just not good enough to beat the Suns. So they win tonight. They lose in game 5. Gentlemen's sweep, we would call this. Not gentlemen's club.
Gentlemen's sweep.
Yeah. Plus 155 actually on FanDuel.
For what? What
for the series? 5 games. That's not a bad price. Plus 155. That's not bad.
Phoenix wins in 5?
Yeah. Well, yeah, just for the series to go 5 games. So yeah, Phoenix in 5. Yeah.
I'm building you a house here. I can tell you what I think, and you can tell me what the best.
Oh, you got my number now. I told Jack to send you my number. You got the digits. You hit me up, bro. I'll feed you winners all day like honey buns. Hit up your boy.
You're right.
Hit up your
boy. You know what? Because I'm telling you, everyone wants me to bet every single game. I would not touch the Philly-Miami game. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm pretty confident in this game what's going to happen. Just like I think if you were here, I bet you I would have put $1 million on the Celtics to win game 2. Like if being you hung out all day and I talked to you about here's what I think, you're gonna be like, dude, you think they're going to win? I would have been like, yeah, they're not going to lose. What was I doing messing around with like $1,000? Stupid. But that's not good advice for you guys. It's different for me, right? It's different for me. But like if you, today I am as confident as I ever been about the Mavs winning this game, even though I think they're not as good of a team, and I think the Phoenix Suns are going to win in 5. I love the Mavs, and I love the Phoenix Suns in 5. That's how I look at this thing.
It's a great bet. You know why? Everybody is betting Phoenix tonight. And Scal, I'm a contrarian. I'm seeing 84% of the bets over at MGM on Phoenix laying 1.5. Everyone is betting Phoenix tonight. And it makes sense. The line's basically a pick 'em. People are in their minds are saying, wait a minute, Phoenix just dominated these first 2 games. All they have to do is win. They're laying 1.5 points. It's really not a big spread. And the contrarian play tonight is Dallas. So if you're telling me there is an actual analytical basketball reason why Dallas is going to win, and I'm telling you the contrarian play in terms of value is Dallas, got ourselves a bet there, sir.
Lauren, what is contrarian play? Like just
honestly,
like against the
sometimes
public.
Jared brings up these massive words, and I just like
it's not that massive of a word.
Go over my head. I need to pull out a dictionary after half the shows I do with Jared. Seriously.
Oh,
I need to do more. I need to read.
Why would I want to bet the contrarian way? Like I just think Dallas.
So I'll tell you why you want to bet the contrarian play. Because in gambling, it's when everyone is on one side, it skews the line away. You're not really getting a good line. You know, it's everyone's betting it, so it's oversaturated. Like the stock market, when everybody buys, eventually the stock's going to tank because it can only go up for so long before it has to go back down. So I kind of view it in stock market terms because you're getting more value.
Like GameStop
is the way.
Like GameStop, exactly. Scal, we so appreciate you coming on. We're going to be talking to you a lot throughout the playoffs. Go get yourself a honey bun, maybe have a Scal's vodka lemonade, and we'll see you in a few days.
Don't have them together.
Not together, though. Separate. We got to stay healthy here. Got to stay healthy. Thanks, Cal. Brian Scalabrine. You'll love to see it. I know. It's the absolute
best. Not that big of a word. You know what that means.
No, it is. Contrarian is definitely a 12 out of 10 big word. So.
Oh, stop it. You're smart. You know what that means.
Scal convinced Justin I'm putting my entire savings on the Mavs. Good luck with that, Justin. Best of luck to you.
I think we kind of have to bet the Mavs tonight now, to be honest with you.
I mean, I'm in.
Right? I think it's a POD kind of vibe, too, after what we just heard.
Well, that might be your POD. I got a different POD. Speaking of, let's go from court to ice. Court to ice. It doesn't necessarily work as well as boys to men, but you know what? We're going to make it work anyways. Okay, so this overtime challenge that you've been doing for every single game, first of all, tell our viewers a little bit about it and the trends that you've seen or the lack of trends that you've seen up to this point.
Yes. So let's talk about the overtime challenge. It has not been very profitable so far, but it is only – hold on, let me pull up the little sheet here. All right, so we've had 16 games so far. We've had overtime in 2 of them. So we are 2-14.
One of them being the Avs game last night that was wild, and the other one being the Rangers game that went into triple overtime. That was also crazy.
Correct. Sadly, we don't get bonus money for the multiple overtimes. It's just one overtime bet. But, 2-14 looks pretty ugly on a betting resume. But if I'm not, as I stated pretty clearly, I'm only putting 0.1 units, little baby sprinkles on each of these because it's a fun experiment. It's an untested theory. Last year, these did well, but that doesn't mean this year they're going to do well. If you are betting a blind 1 unit on all of these, you're down 6 units in 4 days. Not great. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that you're going to continue to be down 6 units every 4 days? I don't know. Because last night, only one of the 4 games went to overtime, but that one was a plus 475. So if you're betting 1 unit on each, you're down 3 units with your 3 losses. You're up 475 with your 1 win. You're up 1.75 units. Again, that's the theory behind them. Most of these are plus 300 or longer, and there are 4 games a night. So you need 1 game to go to overtime every night for this to be profitable. If 2 games go to overtime, then you're building a little bit of equity for yourself over the next 2 days.
Yeah.
Obviously, as I said, we've had 2 days of no overtime games, which is going to skew the results. For the love of God, do not bet full units on these. I'm tracking them for full units because it's a nice round number. I am betting 0.1 units on each of these. For me, that's $10. If I go 0-4, I don't care. It's $40. I'll survive. But it's fun because last night, the end of that Avs game, I know you wanted the Avs to win in regulation, but the last 5 minutes of that game the whole game was wild, but especially the last 5 minutes when it was tied and both teams were kind of trading blows. That game was nuts. So it's a fun bet to root for. Again, we're not reinventing the wheel here. I don't think I'm going to, Ponzi scheme the books out of millions. But
also, who is this Connor Ingram guy that showed up for the Preds, their 3rd string goalie that made 50 saves? It's who is this dude? He's their 3rd string goalie. What is going on? Cale Makar, I think himself, had 20 shots on goal. He got robbed.
Yeah.
So it was just fitting for him to score that overtime goal. He deserved
Crazy
it. That
game.
was a great freaking shot. It was awesome. Awesome game.
Crazy
we
game.
have a couple of
average margin of victory. Hold on, let me say one more thing and then get into your picks. Average margin of victory so far through 16 games is 3. Again, maybe that's a little short sample size, but that's a pretty big average margin of victory for the playoffs. So we'll see if that decreases or increases going forward. Apologies. Now you can continue. Rant over on overtime challenge.
I have 2 bets today. I have 2 bets. One of them is my best bet, so I'm going to save it for the end of the show. The other one, I'm looking at the Leafs Lightning game. I like Tampa Bay 3-way money line in this spot at plus 130. 2 of my bets today are 3-way money lines to finish in regulation. So I'm sorry to your overtime bets, Jared, but just from what I've seen, I like these 3-way money line bets. And from what I've seen in the past, in terms of playoff hockey, covering the Avs for 3 seasons, you see the intensity that these teams come out with. And you see the energy that these teams want to conserve by wanting to finish in regulation and not going to overtime, because playoff hockey, you exert so much more energy that overtime, I mean, it can basically shoot your legs for 2 straight days, especially a game like the Rangers played where they're playing 2 games in one night. So I look at the Leafs Lightning. This series goes back to Tampa Bay at Amalie Arena. The Leafs were dominant in game 1. Tampa Bay, I don't know what happened, but they had some sort of resurgence. Clear got shocked in game 2. Jack Campbell wasn't great for the Leafs in game 2. He led in 5 goals on 34 shots. That is the 18th time, Jared, in the last 25 games that Campbell has allowed 3 or more goals. So I haven't necessarily trusted him very much recently. Tampa Bay looked phenomenal on special teams. They had 3 power play goals in game 2, 25% at this point on the man advantage. The Leafs right now are only at 10%. Tampa hasn't won consecutive games in Toronto since 2018. They've alternated victories over the last 6. I think that streak is going to end. I think that Tampa Bay is going to win again tonight, because the mood for the Lightning at this point is completely different. They had a great road win. Well, guess what? Now they're coming home. They're playing at Amalie Arena, which I will say is a loud, tough place to play. And they look like the back-to-back champions that they are. Let us forget that they won the last 2 Stanley Cups. They won the last 2. I don't necessarily think that this is their year to win a 3rd straight, but I do think that it is game 3, a game that they're going to win again. Vasilevsky, I can't bet against him right now. He looked great. He had a plus 0.07 goals saved above expected, and he had a 912 save percentage, only allowed 3 goals on 34 shots in game 2, even though he was peppered with 34 shots. So I liked how he looked. He was solid between the pipes. I think he's going to come out and be even better on home ice in front of a home crowd at Amalie Arena. So give me Tampa Bay 3-way money line at plus 130, getting it at a good plus money. And the Leafs are going to go down 2-1 in the series after game 3. Now I think they're going to tie it up in game 4. We'll get to that obviously in a couple days. But for right now, Tampa Bay 3-way money line plus 130. I feel good about it.
So
I went 1-1
I
by the way.
at this tonight. I was gonna say this would be a tail for me, but I've already got 2 units on the Lightning to win the series at plus 110. So I don't feel the need to overextend. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have that bet because we gave it out before the series started. If you have a significant piece of Lightning to win the series tonight, obviously we're rooting for Lauren's bet to hit. It's a very good thing for us. I would probably be a little more conservative tonight because game 3 tends to be the pivotal game of the series when it's tied at 1.
Always.
So if the Lightning win tonight, odds are we're going to win our series bet. So unless you're just feeling extra frisky on this Friday night and you want to double down on what is essentially the same bet. Yeah, if you're feeling frisky Friday, then sure, bet on the Lightning money line tonight. But in essence, tie series, game 3, the series bet and the money line of this game are kind of simpatico. So I don't really feel the need to tell you tonight because in my mind, I'm already tailing you with the series bet. And if you're holding a series price like we are plus money, I would just sit and watch and root for Tampa Bay to strike Lightning all over the floor. I'll be honest.
I know.
They were ready to crown the Leafs Cup champs after game 1. Like I have some friends, some sports betting friends up in Canada, and it was like they might as well have just given them the trophy.
The Leafs haven't made it past the first round in how many years?
Yeah, so you give them game 1. I agree with you tonight. I think this is a Tampa Bay night.
It's going to be exciting to see how things turn out. My other bet, I'm going to save it for my best bet of the day. So before we get into those, let's go to Pickswise.com. Jared, who do we got for our 3-star play of the days today?
Yeah, it's easy. It's chalky. It's public, but it's hard to argue with Philip Tomich laying 3 with the Heat. Hard to argue there. Again, it's a public play. Everyone's on Miami tonight. If Embiid sits, this line's going to probably go to 4 or 5. It's already moved about a point and a half since it opened at 1.5 about 48 hours ago. I ain't touching it, but I can't really argue anyone who wants to bet on Miami tonight. So that's the play of the day. 3 stars. 3 stars.
Yeah, Miami's looking hot. Go to Pickswise.com, read about why we're winning you money every day with our 3-star plays of the day. So Pickswise.com, check it out, read why. Okay, our best bets of the day. I'm going to get into mine. Why not? Because we were just talking about hockey. I'm going to do a little bit more hockey. I'm looking at the Bruins-Canes series. I like the Bruins 3-way money line at plus 125. The series is going back to the Garden, Carolina against Boston for game 3. For the season, the Canes at this point are 4-0 over the Bruins with a 21-2 goal differential. That ain't great for the Bruins. The Bruins did have a great first period, though, but they couldn't get past Antti Raanta. Obviously, Antti Raanta was run into. He left the game. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be playing in game 3. And Carolina, they're a team that on the season, one of the top teams defensively in goals against. They protect their goal as good as anybody. But if there's no Antti Raanta, I don't feel as comfortable leaning to Carolina, even though a lot of the numbers favor them in this spot. Taylor Hall played extremely well for the Bruins. Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, they need to pick it up. I don't think they're going to play as horribly. I mean, it wasn't even horrible, but as badly as they did in game 2. They're going to have a better game tonight. The Bruins also need to get a little bit better in their power plays. I think that they're going to make some adjustments to come out better on special teams. They're too prideful, Jared. Anyone from Boston, East Coasters, to go down 3-0 in a series. They're going to be at home. They're going to be angry. They're going to face a more inexperienced goalie because Antti Raanta is probably not playing. This is the game for the Bruins to win. If they drop this game, they're losing the series and they might be getting swept. They have to get this game, and I think never underestimate a mentality coming into a game on home ice, especially in postseason hockey when you're going up against a team without probably their starting goaltender. That makes a huge difference for me. And I also think that Marchand and Bergeron are going to come out and have a better game than they did, and Taylor Hall is going to play the way that he has been playing. Their pride's going to come in. Give me the Boston 3-way money line, doing it in regulation at plus money, plus 125. Lock it in. That's my best bet of the day. Yours, who you got? Your tail and Scal on the Mavs?
Yeah, hard to argue with you too on the Bruins. This is their season tonight, and if they lose tonight, we can pretty much put to bed the bees on the year. So
tuck them into bed.
if I had to pick one of the K props that I like the best tonight, it would be Mr. Brisky, the brisket boy, your Tigers guy, to go under 3.5. But Scal made such a convincing argument for Dallas. And when I look, again, you know me, Mr. Contrarian. Can you spell that?
Huge
Contrarian?
word. C-O- No, I'm not going to try.
At least you're honest. That's what I love about you.
Yeah.
So I look at the splits and I see 85-90% of the handle on Phoenix, and I get it. I understand. They look great in the first 2 games. And then we hear what Scal has to say about Luka coming out and being very unselfish and parlaying his assist prop maybe with his points under, or parlaying his assist prop with some of the other 3-point shooters on this Dallas team, because we think the Mavericks are going to come out with their hair on fire tonight, and they have to. This is their season tonight, just like it's Boston's season down 2-0 at home. This is Dallas' season down 2-0 at home. No one's ever come back from 3-0, although the Raptors almost made a little interesting there last round, but the Sixers were able to prevail. And I'm just going to take, basically pick them here, almost even odds at FanDuel, -106 on the money line for Dallas. And I'm going to hope that our buddy Scal pushes the right buttons with Dallas again. He nailed them in the last round. He picked the exact moment that series was going to change after Utah took that 1-0 lead, and things really, settled in for the Mavericks from there. And I do think the Suns have this long-term view where right now they've won 6 games. They need to win 16 to win the title. Last year, they won 14 of the 16 that they needed. This isn't like they feel confident that they're going to win this series without winning this game tonight. And we've seen Chris Paul at times throttle up and throttle down. And, oh, by the way, today's Chris Paul's birthday. I don't know if that's
vegan Chris Paul.
Good thing or a bad thing. It's his birthday on the road. Maybe he's away from his family. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on if that's a positive or a negative.
I feel like after you turn 30, birthdays just don't matter anymore.
He's 37 tonight, which, by the way, that's my next birthday.
Birthdays just don't matter after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I kind of agree with you based off of the last few that I've had, although this one this year was a little more meaningful to me for other reasons. But I don't know. I don't really feel that bullish on Chris Paul's birthday being this big game for him. Again, he's on the road. He's away from his family. Maybe his family's with him on the road. I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna trust Scal tonight, and we're gonna take the Mavs at home, and we're gonna hope that they, put the foothold in. Thou shall not pass in Dallas
tonight. This is it for
tonight.
the Mavs. This is it for the Bruins. They both got to come out strong. They both got to get games.
Put up or shut up.
Put up or shut up, baby. That's it for us today. Find us on the Pickswise YouTube channel. Go to Pickswise.com. Follow us on Twitter. Jared Smith. I'm Lauren Jababra. Best of luck tonight, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's get it. Let's bet it.